Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, judges and Bangkit cohort. We are C22-PS340 team, and today we're gonna present to you our Capstone project. First, let me introduce our team member first. Our team consists of me, Fauzia Farros, Bangkit ID C2007F0718.
I'm Rhedy Irwan. My ID number is M2007F0723.
My name is Baihaqi Muhammad with ID Bangkit M7007F0752.
I'm Rizal Rahmat, Bangkit ID C7132F1601.
Hello, my name is Aldi Lukmansyah and my Bangkit ID is A2012G1209.
I'm Muhammad Irfan, Bangkit IDs A7132F1602.
And here it is our app, Routeco. So basically, Routeco is a mobility and smart city apps developed for users who live in South Jakarta and its surrounding. It provides weather and air pollution information accompanied by a map navigation to facilitate users' travel. And this is our Routeco logo. Next, the background. So our team developed this application for several reasons. First, as you can see on the right picture, that's data from jakarta.bps.go.id that tell us South Jakarta is one of the most densely populated cities and had high mobilities in DKI Jakarta. And in the left side, you can see after remodeling a pollution trends from data.jakarta.go.id, it concludes that South Jakarta air pollution trends was good to unhealthy. And these two accurate data was a background why we brought this problem into an application.
About air pollution datasets, we took from Jakarta Open Data, which contain a lot of informations about Jakarta air pollution. Because we want to predict about future air pollution in Jakarta, especially short Jakarta in city, so we just took a category which already explained about air pollution status in the city, which start from good until dangerous. About improvement, most of forecasting predictions use linear or sigmoid activations. Because the data pattern is like turn pattern, we use turn activations instead of two of them. The next is kind n. Every data is important to us, even it's empty. Instead we drop them, we can manipulate it. Kind n or key nearest neighbors is one of best method to manipulate empty data, then median or mean. About model, as you can see, we use LSTM for layers, several dropout. For optimizer, we use ADAM and define the loss functions. We use MSE or mean square error.
For our implementation, each layer of LSTMs will provide a sequence output rather than a single value output to the next layer below. That means one output per input time step rather than one output time step for all input time steps. Then the dropout will deactivate the half of the neurons on a particular layer. This will force the layer to learn with different neurons with the same concept, making it more generalizable and easier to train. Next, for the model result, as can be seen in the loss graph on the left, the training result saw a decrease in the loss value. And for the model prediction result in the graph on the right, saw an increase in air pollution for December 31st, 2021 to June 9, 2022. Next, this is how we deploy our API in GISIP. As you can see on the right side, this is the step how deploy API in GISIP. And for the link below, you can see our result of our API.
So, in building BMKG and air pollution recipe, in making the API, I use VS Code editor which is an application that supports several programming and language. And beside that, in making this API, I use Node.js to run the API, and I use framework and module. In create API with Node.js, use some module like Express.js and XML to JSON.js, and created from reliable datasets such as BMKG and air pollution from data.jakarta.go.id. In this picture, we can see the step to building the API with VS Code editor. And to test the API, we can test the API with application that the name is Postman, and connecting between machine learning pollution model and forecast dataset with REST API. Next, air pollution API is one of feature in Routeco. This will provide a display about air quality around the user destination. And Google Maps API. This API will allow us to access the Google Maps and display maps in apps that will be our main subject. And BMKG API will provide a weather forecast for Routeco apps. Routeco will have a feature to help user prepare before bad weather. To create the UI of my Routeco apps, that is Routeco, we use Android Studio. Android Studio software will be our main tool to make Routeco apps. Routeco will have a UI that provided by Android Studio apps, so it will have a good user interface.
Figma is a platform that we use for designing a user interface, so we can have a good user interface in our Android apps. Why we use Figma? It's very easy to use, and you can. Next, this is the user diagram flow. So user flow is a map that we hope the apps run very smooth and the user use the apps. First, after the user download the apps from the Play Store, user can opening the Routeco apps, and then it will be show splash screen in a couple seconds. And then in the home page, user can find destination address and then go navigate to destination. When navigate to the destination, the apps will displaying air pollution and weather forecast in surrounding area. Next, this is the user interface that we hope it will same with the apps in Android Studio. This is the user interface that we use for our apps. The picture on the left is showing the splash screen that will show up when the user open the apps only in a couple seconds. And the middle one is showing the air pollution and weather forecast, so the user will prepare it in around location will run or bad air quality before they leave the current location and move to another location. And the last one is the maps, and the user can choose where they want to go, but there's a limitation in our apps for the air pollution. It's only around South Jakarta because the API issue.
From budgeting problems in building the Routeco application, we have recorded in the form of the categories, budget percentages, and maximum amount of budget. For team salaries, about 30% as much as 23 million rupiahs. For research and operation, such as buying, prototyping, infrastructure, surveys, and others, about 100%, with a maximum budget of 70 million rupiahs. All aspects covered in budgeting 50%, a maximum budget of 70 million rupiahs. Additional budget for team salary 15%, maximum budget 21 million rupiahs. Additional budget for research 20%, maximum budget 28 million rupiahs. 20% marketing and sales, a maximum budget of 28 million rupiahs. 20% future development R&D, maximum budget of 28 million rupiahs. Other expense 10% of the budget maximum of 40 million rupiahs. For documentation, we have also made in form of source code on GitHub. Thanks to Routeco team, mentors, and Fauzia who have worked together in completing this application. We hope This application can be useful for various community activities.